With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Today, my friends, is January 23rd, 2018, and the Oscars have been, the nominations have been announced here. This is going to be interesting because this is a year where we're seeing the Academy open up its voting, right? Open up the people who could come on in. It's going from like 6,000 to like a lot more, I think. And so we're going to see a lot more diverse nominations, right? The normal Oscar bait fare, I would say, is as far as we know, is going to be not as prevalent. And take a look here at just Best Picture of the Year. You've got Call Me by Your Name, which has got that's the one with Armie Hammer, I believe, right? That's the one where he has a sexual encounter with a 14-year-old boy in Italy in the 1970s, or a teenager in Italy. The age of consent was 14. I know that much. You have The Darkest Hour, right? Again, the whole thing with Winston Churchill and Gary Oldman winning Best Actor at the SAG Awards the other night. That's a big thing too. So those two movies right there, along with Dunkirk here, and Phantom Thread and The Post, and what's this one, and Three Billboards, feel like they are clearly, Oscar bait. Whereas Lady Bird has probably gotten a lot farther than it should have. Lady Bird is nominated, but it's not going to win. However, Greta Gerwig on her first feature film directorial debut is getting an Oscar nom. Same with Jordan Peele's Get Out. That's no small feat. People want Get Out to win. Get Out is not going to win. It's not going to win. It's probably either going to be The Shape of Water or The Phantom Thread. I'm calling that now. Shape of Water is going to do very, very well at the Oscars, I think. Guillermo del Toro, from my understanding, brought it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I very much want to. Phantom Thread could also probably do very well because of, Daniel Day-Lewis and everything else. And so I think these are the ones we're looking at here that are interesting. So you've also got the Best Actor in Leading Role, Daniel Day-Lewis, obviously, for his last role, so that kind of feels like an Academy no-brainer. Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. You have to find it interesting that you've got Roman J. Israel Esquire. I always find this interesting when the Best Actor is not in the Best Movie, right? I just find that to be interesting. Because, again, like, how does the Academy judge these things, so to speak? Then you've got Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Frances McDormand, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Sally Hawkins, Shape of Water, Meryl Streep for The Post, and Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird. If I had to guess on this one, it's probably going to be either Frances McDormand or Meryl Streep, probably more for Streep, but I would say there could be some upsets and Sally Hawkins take it. I haven't seen I, Tonya yet, but I hear it's good. Being a Portland-born native during the Tonya Harding scandal in the 1990s, that film's a little personal to me, a little bit personal in that regard. I still need to check it out when I can. You've got Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World. This just feels like a gimme. This just feels like the Academy is like, well, he came in last minute and he did it over the course of 10 days and it got rid of that pesky molester Kevin Spacey. Let's just give him the nomination. You got Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, and Jenkins is a very solid actor who I don't think gets as much love. Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project. He's also an amazing actor. Sam Rockwell is great. Woody Harrelson is great. But you got two supporting actor nominations for the same movie. Tells me right there that they're not going to win. Christopher Plummer's not going to win. I'm going to probably say Dafoe. My guess is Dafoe. I haven't seen Florida Project, but if I'm just going to call out what I think it's going to be Dafoe. You got Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role, Allison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manfield for Phantom Thread, Octavia Spencer, Laurie Metcalf, and Mary J. Blige. Now, here's the thing with Mary J. Blige. Mudbound is a Netflix movie. A Netflix movie is up for an Oscar. That is no small feat at all. Is she going to win? The answer to that is no. But just the fact that she was nominated, and nominated twice, because she's also nominated for Best Original Song or whatever, is a very big thing for Netflix. I haven't seen any of these movies, so I'm just going to go on a whim, and I'm going to probably say Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird is what I'm calling. You got now Achievement in Directing. Christopher Nolan, Dunkirk, Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird, Guillermo del Toro for Shape of Water, Jordan Peele, Get Out, Paul Thomas Anderson, Phantom Thread. Let's be realistic here. It's going to boil down to either the three on the left, and it's probably going to go to Paul Thomas Anderson. That's what I think. Best Original Screenplay, is probably going to go to The Big Sick, if I had to guess here. So you got Get Out, Big Sick, three Billboards, Lady Bird, and Shape of Water. I just feel like, to me, the way Big Sick was heavily championed throughout kind of indie cinema and everything else, and the story being real, and that it's a real life love story with technically a real life Hollywood ending, so to speak. Ultimately, this is what we're going to see as being the winner. Best Adapted Screenplay: Call Me by Your Name, Logan, Molly's Game, Mudbound, The Disaster Artist. Now, this is a tough one because The Disaster Artist, this is the only nomination it's gotten. James Franco was screwed out of Best Actor because of the Me Too movement. Absolutely. There's no question about that in my mind. So I don't quite know if it's going to win. I don't know if it would win Best Adapted Screenplay, to be honest with you. I felt the script was good, but it wasn't as good as, let's say, Logan. Logan was just excellent all the way through. The fact that this is, the fact that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, or James Mangold for Best Director, or Hugh Jackman for Best Actor, it shows you the bias in terms of how the Academy views these kind of movies, because people are upset that Wonder Woman got snubbed, right? They're super upset that Wonder Woman got snubbed, but Logan, they're like, oh, no one's batting an eye at Logan. Logan is a fucking masterpiece, man. It's just a masterpiece. That movie filled me with so much emotion at the end of it. I was like, when she turns the cross, you're just like, I'm not crying. You're crying, goddamn, it's a good movie. But again, Mudbound. Okay, Mudbound did get nominated here too for Best Adapted. Again, Netflix movie. So that's some stuff here. Now, one of the movies I do feel got snubbed was for Best Picture, Best Director, was Blade Runner 2049. Roger Deakins' work as a cinematographer is well deserved here. That movie has excellent cinematography, and I feel Denis Villeneuve, if I'm saying that correctly this time, did an amazing job directing Blade Runner. It is a fantastic movie, such an excellent slow burn adventure that ultimately I did not want to end. I was having so much fun with it, and I'm bummed that it didn't get any more recognition in the higher up categories. Darkest Hour is also up there, Mudbound, Dunkirk, and Shape of Water. I'm going to probably say here that Deakins is going to pull it. If I'm, again, making just my guess, Deakins on this one. Because you can't beat Deakins. You can't beat Deakins, But again, Mudbound is getting a lot of love. I need to watch that on Netflix. I still haven't watched that one yet. Best Achievement in Costume Design: Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Shape of Water, Phantom Thread, Victoria, and Abdul. Well, let's break it down to ultimately what the two contenders are, because there's going to be two: Beauty and the Beast and Shape of Water. That is what's going to be looked at here. And I'm going to probably say that Beauty and the Beast is going to take it home. I'm gonna go with Beauty and the Beast, but I think ultimately I'd prefer to see The Shape of Water based on just what I've seen. The other ones, they are what they are. But ultimately it's going to boil down to those two. Best Achievement in Sound Mixing: Baby Driver, Blade Runner, Dunkirk, Star Wars, Shape of Water. Now, I'm surprised that Star Wars didn't get more nominations, to be honest with you. Sound Mixing, I'm going to have to probably give it to Baby Driver. I thought the mix on that was fantastic. Blade Runner was great. Star Wars was good for that too. Haven't seen Dunkirk or Shape of Water yet, so I can't say, but I would argue that these are all probably contenders. Right, they're probably all good contenders. Best Achievement in Film Editing. This Baby Driver is going to probably get it. That movie was so well edited. It was so well put together. It flowed so perfectly that I have a feeling it's going to get it. And I would argue that anything Edgar Wright touches should automatically be pretty much placed into the award season category for everything. Best Achievement in Sound Editing, again, it's going to go between Star Wars and it's going to go between Baby Driver, I think. Blade Runner was pretty good. Dunkirk, with the way that the sound design and the sound editing were, from what just on the trailers that I've seen, looks pretty good. But ultimately, I don't think we're in really a space with the Academy right now for war movies. Star Wars, because of its progressive nature, might actually stand more of a chance because it got snubbed in other places. But I do feel it's probably going to be Baby Driver. Best Achievements in Visual Effects. This is a big one here because all of these movies have insane visual effects. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I do believe, is going to take it. The visual effects in that movie were utterly fantastic. They were just freaking amazing. They were so good. Star Wars looked really good as well, but you could tell that it was CG. You could tell that the visual effects were there, but the way that it looked in Guardians was just kind of like, it felt like Rocket felt real, like realer than real in some cases. Not breaking Uncanny Valley, but just felt real. Blade Runner had excellent visual effects, but ultimately the cinematography is what sells that movie. War for the Planet of the Apes looked wonderful, but Matthew Reeves didn't get a lot of love for it this year, even though Fox was gunning for it to be their Best Picture nom instead of Logan. Or that was, kind of dumb. Kong Skull Island looked good, but ultimately it's not going to pull it in. Best achievement in makeup and hairstyling, let's go to Darkest Hour. That's already going to be that one. Best achievement in music written for a motion picture. It's going to more or less boil down to Coco and probably The Greatest Showman are probably going to be the two that are going to be the front runners for this one. Probably going to go to Coco. It's Disney. They put more money into this kind of stuff because they want those nominations. Best achievement in music written for a motion picture, original score. So you got Dunkirk's Hans Zimmer. You got John Williams. I don't know if they're going to give it to John Williams or not. I feel like John Williams probably would be like the top contender. But then again, like the score for The Last Jedi feels very similar to the score for the other movies as well. And that's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. But I think because Star Wars was snubbed in other places, they might give it to it here. Best animated short film. Don't know. I haven't seen any of them. Let me just take a quick look here. Garden Party. I'm calling Garden Party based on just a poster alone. That's my prediction for that. Best live action short film. Hell, I never watched any of these. Let's go with the Caleb Elementary. Why not? Best documentary short. I don't know, man. Traffic Stop just has a cool poster. So let's go for that. Best documentary feature. These ones I do like to watch later on. The Last Man in Aleppo. You know what? My gut's going for Strong Island here. Again, I know nothing of these. I'm just kind of running through it. The best foreign language film of the year. Oh, shit. I don't know what any of these are. Let's just say Loveless. Why not? Little boy kind of crying. Want some love. Academy, hook him up. Best animated feature film. And this is where I find it to be very odd. The Boss Baby was nominated. I couldn't even finish the movie. I tried. It was so bad. Ferdinand. It just, again, that one looked really stupid. But Coco is going to be where it's at. Right? Like, they lost out for Cars. They didn't even get nominated for Cars 3. Pixar had 2 movies this year. Didn't even get nominated for Cars 3. But Coco is one that deals with a lot of very kind of interesting subject matter. So ultimately, they're going to very much be pushing for that. Best achievement in production design. It's going to boil down to Blade Runner or Shape of Water, I think. The production design in Beauty and the Beast was good, but there was so much abundance, so much use CG that it felt like it to me just like it was too much on the screen. I mean, I get it given like Mrs. Potts and Codsworth and Lumiere and everything else, and plus Dan Stevens as the Beast himself. But ultimately, I think Blade Runner, the production design there, the aesthetic of it was so wonderful, and also the Shape of Water feels like it's going to be very good. And then you've got Special Achievement Award. The winner is Alejandro Inarritu, which is, where's he been since Revenant, man? And then you got a couple of things down here. And of course, I was looking at Jenna Jameson's IMDb page. So because it shows you the last one that you looked at. So the 90th Academy Awards, right? We can see the films that they're going for. We can see that the technical categories are going to go, I think, to like Blade Runner or Baby Driver is what I'm predicting is going to have more of a win there. The Shape of Water have a better shot, I think, at some of the upper categories. But ultimately, none of these really speak out to me as being like, oh, I need to sit down and watch this kind of stuff. I don't need to watch this at all. Although I will admit I was wrong about Mary J. Blige. I thought she was nominated. I guess I was wrong on that one. Yeah, I like the fact that Mudbound is getting attention because it's a Netflix film, and they're getting a lot of love, which is good. I like the fact that Get Out and Lady Bird are 2 movies you wouldn't necessarily expect to end up in this category, especially Get Out. So that's pretty cool. And everything else feels like standard Oscar fare. These are the type of movies that, I mean, Get Out worked very well with the, with the audiences, but still, like, the fact that it's cleaning up in the award season is pretty good. Plus, here's the thing. Jason Blum is going to use this because, he produced the movie and Blumhouse Productions and everything else is just a force to be reckoned with when it comes to Hollywood. But I find it here that The Post, which was produced by Amy Pascal, I don't want it to win simply because of that. I don't want her to have anything. Spielberg is, you know, when a movie is up for Best Picture, and the only other one that it really had was Best Actor or Best Actress, and not even Best Director, you can tell that that's more like just kind of a gimme sort of thing. I want to see the post. I hear it's very good, but it's definitely not going to win, even amidst this current climate. But the real question is, are you guys even going to watch it when it comes out on March 3rd?